Everybody, how is everyone doing? My name's Kirkland, and welcome to Fprl, where the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix is our event today. This track is held at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, often referred as the Imola, after the town where it is located. It was held 2 times from 2021 and 2022, both being won by Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, but the same layout has also been held right up from 1981 to 2006, called the San Marino Grand Prix. The track is 4.9 kilometers or 3 miles long and has 19 corners, 10 to the left and 9 to the right. This is also one of the only tracks that is driven anti-clockwise, so that also differs it from the rest of the calendar. There is only one DRS zone around Main Straight, which is most likely going to be our most common overtaking place over the course of the race. Lots of elevation changes will keep our drivers on their toes all the time as they try to battle these new cars and find the limit around this very hard and difficult circuit, with the most difficult corners of Acqua Minerale at turn 11, 12 and 13, and Variante Alta at turn 14 and 15, keeping the drivers to try and conserve a little bit to not spin the car, as the curbs are very brutal around those parts. Today we have the C4, C3 and C2 tires available for today, and of course the intermediates and wets for the rain, if it does come, which is pretty common here around Imola, as we've seen already in real life with the 2 races that we've already had. Today commentating alongside me is of course going to be Ollie, so he's not gonna be racing, but he is going to be alongside us. So, how are you doing today, and are you excited about today's race that we are going to be watching?
Yes, mate. I'm doing okay. Imola today. It's a bit of a bumpy track to think. It's always easy to get the car unstable and spin it around, which we saw I think quite a little bit last time. But yeah, rain is always I don't know what the word is. Intimate around Imola. I think last season we also had rain about 30 minutes before the race and just narrowly missing it. But I wouldn't be all surprised if we see any wet sessions today, which does really change up the race. But something I want to ask you is, we do see, I think from league races last year, there's a lot of crashes in turn 2, 3, and we see a lot of cars going off into the ground. Do you think that might be something we might see today?
Well, I think so. I think it's pretty easy to lock up going into turn 1 if you're not careful enough. So, and because it's not wide enough, it can only kind of contain 2 cars in the middle of the corner. And if people try to go 3 wide, I think it is gonna cause a lot of collisions, like we even saw in real life with Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz crashing at turn 2. So, if you try to compare the game into real life, I think it is gonna produce quite a few incidents, but not too many, and I think we should be expecting at least 1 safety car in the first 5 or 6 laps in the race, or at least a virtual safety car, as we've seen from the 3 races that we've already had. But the most difficult parts, like I said, are the 2 chicanes of Acqua Minerale and the Variante Alta chicane. So, as you are a driver in this league, what is the best strategy to actually get by those 2 corners?
Well, I think with the safety car being so intimate, I think it's gotta be starting on the soft tire, because I think if it's gonna come down early, you want to get a gap so then you can switch to the tires, the wet tires, or even if it's dry so wet race, that all changes the strategy. Still, we as a commentator we don't get any insight into the weather, which is a bit annoying. But I'll try and get some info as we go through from some drivers to see what we are dealing with today. But I think the medium tire will be the ideal to start on. But knowing this field and knowing turn 2 and 3, I feel like a safety car is going to be pretty common today. I think last season we saw a couple safety cars, yeah, let's see how this goes, but I like to think that there'll be some rain and some safety cars.
So you said that it is pretty common to rain, but if it's not gonna be raining, do you think that maybe a soft to medium or mediums to soft strategy is actually gonna be possible, or are people actually gonna try and just conserve and go to a medium hard or hard to medium strategy? Which do you think is actually the best to maximize the full pace of the car and of your entire race?
I think the medium hard is superior, like we saw last week with Wesley and Koss. They went for the soft tires, didn't they? Am I right? In the pit stop, and they did soft tires until the end of the race. But we saw that Ganymede caught back to the back of Koss and Wesley quite quickly in the last couple of laps. In a couple more laps, and he would have been in the fight for the win. So I think if you can manage the soft and medium tires in the early stages, you can maybe get that one stop medium soft. But I think with since the last race, we've had an update, haven't we, with the tires, and it looks like lower tire pressures are more the way to go. And that also means that they'll probably be is it more tire wear they're getting now? I can't remember what I was told, but I think that change will change the strategies to what we've seen in the opening 3 rounds of the season. But it looks like we're about to get underway. I'm seeing here.
And your speculation seems to be correct. We are going ahead to the qualifying session, so it is gonna be like always. We are gonna have a full qualifying session, which is gonna contain 3 qualifying sessions overall. So we have Q1, which is gonna last 18 minutes, which the bottom 5 are gonna be eliminated. So the top 15 drivers are gonna go ahead into Q2, and it's basically the same story. The bottom 5 eliminated, and the top 10 go ahead into Q3, where we are going to see the fastest lap times being set of the entire race weekend, or race day, should I say, actually. So those are gonna be the fastest times over the course, and it is gonna be interesting to actually see who is gonna be on pole. We saw many different pole sitters, or at least I think 2 or 3 different pole sitters, with Koss and Wesley. Wesley being in Australia and Koss being in Bahrain and Jeddah, I think, if I remember correctly. Koss also winning the 3 races so far out of the 3 races that we've already had, so he is currently leading the championship, which also converts into the constructors. Red Bull is also leading with around 80 or 90 points. I still haven't checked it because I'm way too lazy. But we are going into the qualifying session, and looks like we don't have any rain, so that is gonna be good. Do you think it's gonna be better that the drivers just go out instantly, or is it gonna be better that they wait a little bit so the track evolution starts to come up a little bit?
It looks a little bit cloudy, so I don't know if the track is going to get a little bit colder. So if that's the case, it depends on how hot the track is, but it's always good to get out early, because especially here you can lose all your lap time in places like the Variante Alta. Like, it's so easy to lose all your exit time right there and lose all the time on the Delta. But I think we'll see everyone generally coming out for this first running Q1. We always tend to see everyone trying to get a lap in as soon as possible. It looks like it's the Williams of Ganymede that's going to be the first one out there, if I'm right.
Yes, it is. Oh no, it's actually Moses who is going out.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the wrong guy, but yeah, let's see. So obviously reserving then from Division 2 today in the Williams. There's quite a few reserves out there today. Ollie Horwood reserving for his McLaren team in Division 1. A resident Division 2 driver. Moses coming in at Williams Division 1. And Starborough coming in Division 1 Ferrari, where he used to be in Division 3. But he still is, but he's just reserving. Odin, Division 2 AlphaTauri driver driving in Division 1 today. And Dubby getting his Fprl debut today. Let's see how he can get on in the first part of qualifying.
As he already goes to intermediates, which I think it might be a clue that it is gonna rain at the end of this qualifying session. So I think we should take that in mind, as we still haven't got any clarification if it's actually gonna rain in the qualifying session or in the race. So we're just gonna have to wait a little bit, but we can go on board with Moses, on board with the first qualifying lap of the session, and do you want to take over, or should I?
I mean, I can do it if you want to.
Go ahead.
Right, Moses into second gear out the last corner, sacrifices a little bit of speed as you get the engine braking going, but as he comes across then turn 1, completely flat, basically not a corner, but you want to get on that green stuff, minimises your distance travelled. Braking just before the 50-meter board into turn 2-3, he seems to have got it pretty nicely put in there. as he approaches then turn 4 and 5. Turn 6 then, this one really does creep up on you. You have to take a nice tight line, as we will see the McLaren of Eagle getting out of the way shortly, I imagine. But so far all so good as we go into turn 9 then. This one you need to be able to get the apex early, else you will understeer. Uses all of the track, which is a little bit naughty, but let's hope Eagle can get out of the way here. Oh, I think he's messed it up a little bit, but I think we got a little bit desync, mate. I don't know what you're saying.
I mean, I'm on board with Moses right now, which he just went through Variante Alta, going into
Did he just slam into Eagle at Variante Alta?
No.
Oh, well that's just what happens on my screen. Eagles just hit him. This game is amazing. But Moses comes up to the line then, the first one to set a lap. It's a 117.4. It's a pretty average lap so far in this qualifying session, but Starbray is going to be the next one to cross the line. Can he beat that time? Not looking like it right now. It's going to be in the 19s, I think. Yep, 19.5 for Starbray.
We also have the Haas of Dubby starting his flying lap right now, and the two Mercedes of Itmar and J Rose also finishing both of their laps at the same time. So let's see how they are gonna cope. The Mercedes also has a new reserve of J Rose, so let's see how he's gonna do in this Division 1 race as he puts himself into P2 with a 117.8. Which is currently a pretty good lap time, close to the provisional pole with Moses. But it is still the beginning stages. None of the drivers, or most of the drivers, are still in the pit lane. So I don't think we should be expecting anything today, but I think a low 16 or a high 15 is probably going to be the lap time that everyone is going to try and beat for the rest of the qualifying session. As I think J Rose is actually doing another lap, as he did a purple sector 1, but he unfortunately is gonna crash at turn 9. Thankfully he doesn't get any damage caused by that spin, as he narrowly avoids the wall. So pretty good avoiding maneuvers there by the Mercedes, but that's not really what you want to do on your final qualifying runs.
Yeah.
But
Eagle's desync for me. He's not anywhere on the track. But I've got a little bit of news here. Race start is going to be full wet apparently. A wet to dry race is what we're seeing, starting on the full wet.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Okay.
So we're going to see who's going to be going for a wet setup and who's going to be doing for a dry setup, basically. That's what we're looking at.
I think they should be pretty close to one another. Imola is a track where you most likely are gonna run pretty high wings, as there is not a lot of straights where you actually can benefit by running low wings. So I think a high downforce setup is going to be good, and if you can balance it out with the dry and wet setup, like just bump up the wings on your dry setup if you do run a dry setup, I think you're clear to go for both the dry and the wet conditions in the race. As Odin goes to P3, but we have a new pole sitter of Dubby with a 116.4, currently the first guy in the 16s. So pretty good first showing here by the Haas driver. So let's see if he can continue with this pace over the course of the qualifying. We also have Ollie Horwood currently on his lap, also with a purple sector, but Eagle I think is also gonna be finishing his lap in the McLaren. I don't know where he is for you, but he's actually gonna go into the pit lane, so he's gonna wait it out just a little bit longer, as Itmar is also gonna start his lap. Yeah?
Spinning. Itmar spun, he's facing the wrong way.
That's gonna block Wesley.
He comes back on and oh, there he nearly hits the McLaren of Ollie Horwood.
Wait, Ollie for me is coming out to the penultimate corner right now, where the DRS detection point.
Game, mate? He's going into turn 2 now for me.
He's crossing the finish line for me right now. And he finished his lap, he goes P2, 17-2.
my god, mate, this game.
I don't know.
Shall I rejoin?
Uh,
I'll do that.
maybe I should also do that later. As PW Jones puts another provisional pole with a 116.4. That's a pretty good showing actually for the Aston Martin. They seem to have the pace in the first 3 races of the season, so it looks like they are continuing with the pace. But we are on board with Cos Silvi, like I said before. He has won all of the races so far, so he is leading the Drivers' Championship by 75 points, or somewhere around those parts. I don't know if he got a fast lap somewhere, but he is currently trying to challenge for the pole as he gets a very nice run out of the Variante Alta chicane and getting a little bit of slipstream by the AlphaTauri, who was right ahead of him. I think that was Wesley. As he goes now into turn 18, gets a very nice line, and let's see what lap time this is going to be from the championship leader, and it's actually gonna be just enough for P3. A 116.8, so either he made a mistake somewhere over the course of his lap, or he just doesn't have the pace for today. Looks like everyone else is actually gonna be pretty close, and we might see a different winner. Or he might be just sandbagging. It can be anything. Are you back in the lobby?
Yeah, I'm back in, but I don't know if it's good or not.
Ollie's out on track. Can you tell me where do you see him?
He is just come out Variant Delta. He's going down the hill now.
Yeah, okay.
100 board, 50 board.
So it's good now, okay. He's gonna go into the pit lane in just a few seconds. Oh, he's starting another lap actually. So if he's doing that for you, then everything should be fine. I hope we don't have any more glitches like that. But yeah, half of the grid has already set lap time. The only guys that haven't set lap time yet are Yipe, Little Jack, Itmar, Wesley, Lewis, and Ganymede in the Williams. But most of them seem to be on the outlap, with Wesley going to cross the finish line just in a moment as he gets a little bit of dirty air by the Red Bull and the Mercedes right in front of him. But still, that is not gonna invalidate his lap as he goes to provisional pole with a 115.9. So really good for AlphaTauri here. Let's hope that Odin, the other AlphaTauri driver, can also maximize his pace as his teammate, as we are also gonna see Eagle starting his lap. But we are gonna go on board with Itmar, the Mercedes driver, who also hasn't set lap time yet. Currently on softs, which are the only tires that you can use. You get 4 sets over the course of the 2 qualifying sessions, and then if you manage to get yourself into Q3, you actually get an additional set of softs. So you get a maximum of 5 sets. As Itmar makes a little bit of a lockup going into turn 11, but still that didn't cause him to lose too much time, as he also gets a pretty nice run, just hugging the curbs as much as possible around Variante Alta, going down the hill, braking at the 70-meter mark. Goes a little bit too deep, which is gonna cost him around 1 to 2 tenths, but still a pretty good run nonetheless. And he opens his DRS and crosses the finish line, puts himself into P6 in front of his teammate by 5 tenths, and I think that is gonna be safe going into Q2. But what do you think? What do you think the pole time is going to be, and who our pole sitter is gonna be for today's race?
It's too early to tell, but I think Kos has some incredible pace once again. That's the thing, Wesley has some incredible pace. So once again, for like the 3rd week in a row, maybe 4th week now, we're going to see a scrap of pole position between them two, as that seems to be the running team this season. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. But Kos is yet to put in representative lap time of his pace, I think.
I am also gonna ask chat about that. If anyone is watching so far, we would also like to know your opinions of who you think the pole sitter is going to be. So you can write in chat what do you think, and we are going to read it out after qualifying 1 is gonna be over. But we can see that most of the drivers have already set lap. The only are the two Alfa Romeos. I don't know what they are waiting on, presumably to the final few moments of the qualifying, but that is gonna pose a little bit of a problem. If they are going to make a mistake on their lap, they are not gonna be able to improve, and they are already gonna be eliminated for Q2. And they are gonna be the only ones to actually be eliminated, as we only have 17 drivers out of 20, so only the bottom two are actually gonna be eliminated for Q2. As we see most of the people in the pit lane at the moment. Little Jack just finished his lap 1 minute before. Ganymede also slowing down a little bit. Eagle also, but Starry actually I think is on a lap, going a little bit wide at turn 9. Of course, not gonna lose him too much time. We should also mention that we are still running on regular rules, so the game has not been fixed even with the new update that has come out just a few days before this race. The game is still not fixed, the track limits are still very buggy, so we are still running on the regular. So you can track extend a little bit, your lap is not gonna be invalidated, but we of course do not encourage it. It is a reportable offense if some of the drivers do choose to do that. We saw that in Division 2, the pole sitter of Adam actually got himself disqualified from the race by corner cutting way too much. So just know that we are watching for the track limits if you do tend to abuse them a bit too much over the course of your qualifying or the race.
Yeah, and if we see anything, we can report it, and then it'll get looked at after the race. But I think Yip and Lewis aren't gonna come out now in Q1, so everyone who will set a lap will be through into Q2, which makes it a little bit irrelevant, if you know what I mean. But I think yeah, everyone shouldn't have to set another lap time now, especially the top 10. But yeah, everyone should be through. We shouldn't see any change now.
But that also begs the question, why can't they go out, actually?
Because I think they want to have fun and start from the back. I
mean, it is gonna cause way less incidents. They are gonna be able to avoid anyone ahead of them if they do tend to collide. So I mean, it might be a good strategy. I don't know.
Yeah, because we saw yesterday Lewis in a PSGL F6 went from something like P16 to P5 or something in like one sector in Miami yesterday.
Okay.
It's not too bad. I think it was like P6 or something, but there's like a crash and he just gained loads of positions. So let's see if he's gonna do it again. But few guys are retiring then, as they know they haven't got out anything else to do now.
As Alpha has also crossed the finish line, and for the first time ever, he is actually gonna be in front of his teammate by 60 thousandths of a second. You don't see that too often.
He's done that. He's done him dirty there, mate.
But it is looking very close. There's a pretty big difference between the drivers between third place and P10. Only 6 tenths a difference. So I think we might have a pretty tight battle for points during the race. But what do you think?
Yeah, of course. There's always a big battle. I think like P10 is always a contested position. I feel like there's always like the top 5 generally go clear, but then further back there's always quite a big battle between people. But is Alpha variant Alta now for you?
Yes, he is right now.
Okay, it's working. But yeah, we got a few more drivers on an outlap right now. I think Tyler Freeman's on a run with his soft tires now, so he's 3.4 seconds up through sector 2. But something I want to mention is that the detection point for the DRS, it's like 200 meters later than it is in real life. Normally the detection point's like long before turn 16, but in this game it's just on the apex of turn 17. But Tyler Freeman then goes P3 with a 116.1, 2 tenths shy of Wesley's provisional pole time in Q1. that doesn't matter at this stage. But we can see Eagle, but doing a little burnout to get the rear tire temps up. But as he starts his lap, he might feel like he needs to improve, but he probably doesn't, to be honest.
I don't think he's gonna be eliminated, as only the two Alfa Romeos are gonna be. So I think he's pretty safe, so he doesn't even need to do a lap. As I think that's J Rose or Itmar also spinning after turn 7.
Is it Itmar?
It's Itmar, yes. You are correct.
So he doesn't impede Eagle's lap time. I think he's waiting. Yeah. He's reversing into the temporary barriers, but yeah, he's okay. But let's see what Eagle can do then for the first. So his second sector, he is 7 thousandths up on his time. It's got to find a few seconds, but he's locked up pretty horrifically, so that's not been an improvement for him.
Looks like this is not a really good track for the McLaren driver, as he has had a lot of runs during Q1 and hasn't found the pace so far. Maybe it's a lack of practice or just the lack of confidence around this infamous track. His personal best is a 122.8, which is not really what you want to see. But he still has a lot of time to try and improve going into Q2, as we just wait for Itamar to finish his lap, and we are gonna go on board into Q2 as he makes nearly a 360 going into the penultimate corner. So we are gonna wait a little bit, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, for Yipe and Lewis, they have been eliminated from the qualifying session. We are not gonna see them for the rest of the 30 minutes, so let's actually see in the race if their strategy is gonna pay off, starting from last, and let's see how many positions they are going to be able to improve. They have had pretty unlucky races so far during the course of the 3 races. I think the only good position was a P5 in Australia, if I remember correctly, and the other 2 times in Jeddah and Bahrain they have DNF'd. So not a good run by the Alfa Romeos, but maybe everything can turn around going into this Grand Prix as well, as Wesley is gonna be the provisional pole sitter at the moment, so none of this is gonna matter. But it is very nice to see Wesley currently the first guy in the 115s, so he is showing that he still has the pace. Ganymede and Tyler Freeman also follow him pretty close behind, only separated by 2 tenths over the Dutchman. We also have Itmar, PW Jones, Dubby only separated by 1/10, so that is also very nice to see how close it is. Ollie Horwood is gonna be P7, J Rose P8, Alpha P9, Odin is P10. Kos unfortunately P11, so presumably sandbagging a little bit because we both know that this is not his real pace. And then everyone else who I forgot to mention goes into Q2. Of course the 2 Alfa Romeos don't, but let's stop about that and let's see how everyone's gonna manage this. But first of all, let's actually read some of the predictions if there are any in chat. So PW Jones says that he knows the pole sitter is not gonna be him. I think that's pretty accurate. And he also says that the forecast is gonna be full wet, immediately drying up. But he doesn't really trust the game. Do we actually have on approximate weather, or is it on perfect?
I'll check for you.
It's perfect, actually.
Okay.
So maybe you should trust it.
I think if it's gonna be wet, we're gonna have a very chaotic first lap, I think, because everyone's gonna have all their practice for the last hour in the dry because of qualifying and time trial just before. But if it goes wet, I feel like, mate, we might not even have 10 people finish.
I don't know. I agree with you. It is gonna be pretty tight, and I think most of the people here do run assists because we do not restrict the tiers, so you can run any assists that you want. So it might be a bit easier to try and avoid any incidents going into turn 1 and 2. But like you said, I think something is gonna happen. It is gonna be pretty unpredictable. But I'm gonna go on board with Moses. I already told you this. I have to go a little bit, but I am gonna be back in 5 minutes. So just go on board with Moses, and you can do a lap.
Yeah, okay, we'll try and, well, Cake's not around, but you can try and keep you updated on the time. You'll be able to see the times, but I'll try and give you an idea of what's going on track. But as Moses starts his lap now, he comes across the line then. I'm assuming you can see this. Turn 1 then, he doesn't take as much of the green, but as you usually would. But turn 2, 3 is he can brake just before the 50, we've seen that before, but he generally has quite a nice line through it. As he's going up the gears then, a little bit of oversteer on the exit, forcing him to go a little bit wider than he would have liked. But fourth gear then is the chosen gear for turn 7. Sorry, this is turn 7. Try not to use as much curb on the inside as you might spin quite easily. But we'll see the McLaren then getting out of the way as he brakes well up to the 50-meter board. Uses a lot of that exit curb as he almost goes on to the grass. So then Acqua Minerale, as we can see the Ferrari getting out of the way. It seems a pretty well linked up lap so far. He'd hope to get into the 16s then. Here we go then, into the Variante Alta. Using a little bit too much curb, chucks him out a little bit wide, unstable onto the car. But, it's not too far now for him to get to the line. Braking just before the 50-meter board down into third gear. But he's going to be coming up to the line then. A little bit of oversteer out of the second to last corner, but here we go then. It's going to be a 1:16.8 for Moses. A nice time for him. Next across the line is going to be the McLaren of Ollie Horby, but he's starting his lap. We have the Red Bull then of Little Jack. Sorry, Ferrari of Little Jack. What's he going to do? It's going to be a 1:17.6 for him. Next is Eagle in the McLaren. It's going to be a 1:16.7, goes on to provisional pole. Next across the line is going to be Alpha. Alpha's going to, sorry, Cost is going to go to 17.0. Not the best from him. Next across the line is the Mercedes of Giro. I don't know how to say that. And then Alpha Tauri then of Olin goes into P4. But next will be Alpha then to cross the line. He's now going to come across the line then. Is he going to get into the 16s also, or is it going to be a 17? 16.6 for Alpha. Really nice time from him. And then Wesley Caspers is going to come across then to start his lap. And the Mercedes of Itamar comes across with a 16.5, goes 1/10 faster then. And then the Aston Martin of PW Jones, only P5 for him, but it's getting very much congested here. Only 4/10 between P1 and P5. But who else we got on our lap? We have Little Jack going to be coming into the pit lane now, but I feel like most people have finished their laps, but or either messing up. But Wesley Caspers is coming towards the end of sector 2 right now. Keep you updated on any other times we see. It's looking like a pretty solid lap from Wesley so far. He has the ability to get into the 15s pretty much as soon as possible. He sets up a sector 2. Wesley's coming into the last 2 corners now then. Taking a nice little wide set up the exit for the final corner. He's going to deploy the DRS. Come across the line, can he get into the 15s? Yes, very much easily. 15.788 from the Alpha Tauri driver, my teammate in fact. But we have Itamar seems to have spun it again at the Variante Alta. Just looking at no one's coming up to the finish line for quite a while now. But Ole Horwood seems to be going again, as this time to be abandoned. He's only got the Variante Alta and the final 2 corners as he goes down the hill. You can see the house at Imola here. The car is stopped on track currently. I think it's Mercedes of Itamar. He's back on track now. But he's across the side of the track. But Ollie's gonna avoid him. He's gonna come across the line. Decent lap from him. 16.5. That puts him P4. Just 1/10 ahead of his teammate. The Hasses then. Both Hasses coming up to the line now. I think in W's FPRL debut is gonna be coming into the pit. No time set for him. Tyler Freeman then. Is he gonna get into the 15s? It's gonna be a 16.2 for Tyler. Puts him in P2. Sorry about that. Just had to deal with something, but got Sylvia on an out lap once again. But Starry Bora is gonna start his lap. We have a few other guys on our lap currently. Got Sylvie on our lap, as well as Lil Jack also. But right now, very few cars still on the track. No one really setting any lap times that we can see. A couple guys on an out lap. Seems to be just the Ferrari still trying to get into the top 10. Currently P2 and P12 and P13 right now. But I think it's gonna be because Sylvie will be the first one we see come up to the line, but he seems to be 6 seconds down on his time. So no improvement for him. As we can see the Mercedes then of Itamar getting out of the way. As Lil Jack comes into the last two corners looking pretty smooth through here. As he comes across the line, is he going to get into the 16s for the first time? Yes, 16.8 for Jack. Nice time from him. As we're going to go on board then. I think we got, who else we got on the lap? Right now, I don't think we have anybody. Cos might still be on a lap. I think he might be going again. Cos looking pretty smooth. Very low gears, as we do see from him quite often. Purple sector 2 then, so Cos showing his pace for the first time today. The pace we usually used to, as Gani goes P2 with a 1:15.943. But Cos is looking like a pretty decent time from him unless he messes it up. A little bit of oversteer in the last corner, but coming up to the line for Cos then is going to be a 16.4, only P4 then for Cos. It's unfortunate. Leo Jack's down on his time, so he is very much in the danger zone. But I don't think we're seeing many other people on laps. Just trying to see who we got then. Eagle is on a lap, but he spun it in sector 1, so he's not going to be improving. It's the same with Jarose. He comes across the line as a 1:41.2, so that's not going to be an improvement of his 17.4. But the field, yeah, really close in the midsection. But think we could see Eagle go again. If Eagle wants to get into Q3, he's gonna probably have to go again. But everybody seems to be starting their final runs now, those who need to start their final runs. But Eagle will get into the pits and he needs to be as quick as possible then to get back out on a new set. The tires. Alden's starting his lap reserving for me today. As my wheel's not working at the minute. But I should be back next week. From Miami. But Alden then into turn 7 he goes. Get a sector split for sector 2 very shortly. But sector 2 then, he is going to be 6/10 up on his time. He's going to be able to get into the 16th, be kicked together, but a little bit of a mess up into the Variante Alta. Means he's probably not going to improve. Orden's got one more corner to go then. But it looks like he's messed up a little bit, but he could still get into the 16th. Let's see if he can. It's going to be close. 16.5 for Orden. That's really nice time from him, P5. A few other drivers. We've got PW Jones on a flyer then, coming into the end of sector 1. So we're going to keep an eye on then at the front here. On who's actually getting some lap times in and going across the line. But, as if pretty much everybody's getting out there then. Literally everybody but Alpha, Ganymede and Wesley. But Thursday is the first person to be at risk then. He's 2/10 up on his time, but he's lost the rear of the car, and that's going to be him. Maybe out of qualifying, I don't know how much fuel he's got. But that's him out of qualifying. But PW Jones then, he's got 2 corners to go to get out of that drop zone. PW Jones crosses the line, he goes a 5/10 improvement and he's up to P5. Really good time from him. And next to cross the line is gonna be Olin. I think Olin's going into the pit lane though. On the whole, it's on or up too.
Okay, I am back.
Nice in time. Nicely in time, but yeah. So a few drivers, everyone's out there at the minute. It looks as if just to update you, we've seen a few more spins, causing people to probably not get into the top 10, such as Eagle and Jerosa. But there's still lots of drivers out there trying to get into the top 10. But most notably, we have one McLaren, Ollie Holwood. Needs to improve if he wants to solidify himself into Q3. It's a 17.2 for Ollie Holwood. It's P6 for him.
We also have the other McLaren of Eagle, also improving by 1/10 in Sector 2, so let's see if he's gonna be able to improve himself out of the danger zone, as he gets a lot of oversteer at the exit of the penultimate corner, and unfortunately doesn't improve, so he is unfortunately gonna be eliminated. As we have a Ferrari in the gravel, it's Starry, so he's also not gonna be improving, so he's also gonna be eliminated. We have Moses crossing the finish line, but he also doesn't improve. Tyler goes into the pit lane, and the only guy to actually finish his lap is gonna be Little Jack, but he also isn't improving. So unfortunately for Alpha, Moses, Eagle, Moses, Eagle, Little Jack, J Rose, and Starry, they are unfortunately gonna be eliminated out of qualifying 2. and we are not gonna see them for the rest of the 12 minutes in Q3. But from what I can see, Tyler Freeman and Ganymede have picked up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, two very much front runners in Division 1 of FPL. But I think Eagle being knocked out of qualifying for another time. He's not the pace that he had last season, and it's the same as Jack, also not getting into Q3 also. Like, we're seeing some drivers just not have the pace this season that they had last season. I think that could be down to some hardware changes for them, which I know about. But yeah, Tyler Freeman setting a nice time from him. That one's come out of the top draw. But we're just waiting on Starbria to get into the pit lane and to retire from this session.
Like like you said, it is a bit unfortunate, but I think it most likely all comes down to the new regulations and the new cars and how differently they actually feel compared to the last game and to last season as well. It's way different, and everyone needs to try and get used to this new handling model, which has also been updated now recently, just a couple of days ago. So even if you knew how to drive these cars, Codemasters have switched it again. So now you have to get used to it again with some different styles. So it does tend to change your driving style and how you approach certain corners. So I think that is most likely the cause of their shock slowdown in pace compared to the life, like you said. But that's my opinion, and that's what I'm actually also finding out by playing this game.
Yeah. But let's literally have a look at it. Both Alphataris and both Hasses making it into Q3. Both Red Bulls also. We generally see Red Bull and AlphaTauri getting into Q3 every single race we see. But I think overall that the Red Bull team is looking the most strong at the moment. The driving pairing is quite decent, but they got a lead in the championship right now, I think, from AlphaTauri. But if my wheel started working, mate, it might be a different story.
Maybe, but you cannot also count Haas out. Haas is also showing some pretty good pace, which they haven't really shown over the rest of the season. I think they only got 1 or 2 podiums. Tyler got a podium in Australia. He got a P3, and I don't really remember how it went for them in Arabia and Bahrain. But you cannot count them out. We saw in Q3 and Q2 right now that they do have the pace to be at the top. It's just that they are gonna need to minimize some of the mistakes that they have been having and try to reduce some of the bad luck as well in the race, and they can get a good result. It's all gonna come down to them in those final moments of the race. But speaking of Haas, we have Dubby, who is gonna be the first guy to set the first Q3 lap. So I guess we can just go on board with him, and we saw in Q2 that he is pretty fast. He was P4, I think. So let's see if he can try and challenge for that pole position. Is he gonna be able to get himself into the 15s like Tyler, Ganymede and Wesley did? We are all gonna see that for these final 10 minutes of the qualifying session. And it's still not raining in qualifying, so that is also good. So that's not gonna compromise anything as Dubby goes out on track, off track on the grass a little bit. That is gonna pick up some debris on the tires, which is gonna reduce the amount of grip he's actually gonna have in the middle of the corner. So let's hope that he can get rid of that before he starts his lap. As he is gonna start it now. You wanna try and go as wide as possible on this penultimate corner, try and get as much straight line speed as you can going to the finish line, but let's go on board with him. So this straight line is, like we said before, the strongest straight, so we are most likely gonna see overtakes happening here into turn 1. He takes it very nicely into turn 2 and 3 as well, but in my opinion I would say it was a bit conservative. It looks like he's not really pushing as much. Going into turns 5 and 6, also doing them pretty conservatively, but still it is gonna produce a good lap time, so I don't think there's anything to worry about. Turn 7 was very, very nice indeed, turn 8 is flat out, turn 9 is probably one of the most difficult corners alongside Variante Alta and Acqua Minerale, as you can run very wide and invalidate your lap. Thankfully for us it is on regular, so it's not gonna invalidate. Acqua Minerale was very good indeed, but he gets a little bit of a lockup going into Variante Alta and doesn't really get on the power as early as he would have hoped, which is gonna lose him around 1 or 2 more tenths at the exit. He is also gonna get blocked by a Mercedes of Itamar, so that is also gonna lose him a little bit of time. But he is gonna cross the finish line and put himself into P1 with a 116.0. I think if Itamar didn't block the Haas driver, I think he would have been in the 15s. But that is unfortunate indeed. So, you said that Kos was gonna be the one to set pole position for today's race. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think he can. I want to backtrack. He's not showing the pace that I thought he showed.
Well, I haven't said anything yet. I haven't said any driver for my preferences, so I'm gonna say Wesley. Wesley has dominated Q1 and Q2, setting both of the best times. As we see Ollie, another driver to get himself into the 15s. Very impressive actually from the McLaren driver, as Tyler very quickly snatches that and puts himself on pole position, a 115.6. So already also showing his pace. But yeah, I'm gonna say Wesley is gonna be on pole position. And he actually goes right now to provisional pole with 3 tenths up on Tyler Freeman's lap time. So you can see that he's just dominating the qualifying session. It's all gonna come down to if he can also do this in the race and not do any mistakes, which we are all gonna see later.
Yes, we will. But Itamar seems to have binned it, turn 1. If you want to just look here, let's hope he doesn't impede anyone's lap time.
Ganymede's on a lap, but thankfully, like you said, he doesn't impede it. So Ganymede is clear to go. Oh, actually, he is on a outlap. I think my status glitched because it said that he was on a flying lap, but it's okay. Everything is okay, nothing has been ruined. But him and Alpha are the only ones that haven't had lap time yet. Alpha currently was running with no front wing, so he had a massive accident somewhere around the track. So let's hope that the mechanics can change the front wing very quickly so they can push him out on track yet again and try to challenge for the top 10, or at least the top 9. As most of the people go into the pit lane, they are presumably gonna wait until the 2 remaining minutes, because that is when the track is gonna be at its peak. We are gonna see the best lap times happening there. We also have a AlphaTauri double stack, which is gonna waste a lot of time for Odin, who also wants to go out on track for once more. But let's go on the board with Ganymede, the Williams driver. Let's see what he is gonna be able to do. Currently haven't set lap time yet. We saw he has pretty okay pace in Q1 and Q2, putting himself into P3 both of the times, I think. So let's see if he can continue this form. As yeah, he has more aggressive lines than we saw previously with Dubby, as he sets a purple sector 1, so currently going very well for him. Let's see how he tackles turn 8. Touches a little bit of the grass on the entry into the corner, which is not really what you want to see, but thankfully it doesn't really do anything in these corners. He doesn't lock up going into the Acqua Minerale as well as Variante Alta, as he just cuts the entire section of the entry of Aqua Minerale, which is, I think, the best way to actually take that corner. You either cut the first part or the second part of the corner, and you're gonna be good. You cannot cut both because you're gonna lose too much time. But he is going now and crossing the finish line with a 1:15.6 and puts himself into P2. So currently on the front row of the grid. Still, there is 4 minutes left in the end of the session, so let's see if he can manage to put himself into the pit lane, change the tires quickly, and go ahead to try and do one more lap. But looking by this, Ollie, looks like Wesley is just gonna be very clear to take pole position for today.
Yeah, he seems to be already walking away with it. Let's see if they can get into the 14s come the last part of this session. I don't know what you think.
I mean, it could be possible, but it is gonna be a lot of time to try and improve on. But I mean, let's try and wait and see. Let's see if it is gonna be possible. And if anyone's gonna get that, it's probably gonna be Wesley, as his teammate, or as Alpha in the Red Bull goes out on track for his outlap, and we see also more people going out with Odin, Ollie, and Kos. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm very surprised about Kos's pace. He really has surprised me, as he won all of the 3 races, but now looks to be down on pace. He is currently 1 second off of Wesley's pole time. So presumably Imola is not the best track for our championship leader, or like we said before, he's probably just sandbagging. But let's see how his teammate is gonna bear with this. Currently the only guy that hasn't had lap time yet. Let's hope he doesn't also get blocked by some more people going out on track with that is Wesley and PW Jones also going out. So let's hope that they don't impede Alpha's lap, and let's see where he can put himself, as he's gonna start his lap in just a few moments. And right behind there is also Odin, who is also gonna start. But firstly, we're gonna go on board with Alpha, so he's gonna be the first guy to actually cross the finish line. Going now into turn 1 and 2, he gets a very nice line, just trying to use as much of the track as he possibly can. Going into turns 4, 5 and 6, he really cuts the corner at the entry, which is not really a common line that you see among the drivers, because it usually unsettles your car and causes it to spin. So you lose your backhand very easily, but if it suits him with his driving style, then go for it. He goes a little bit wide going into turn 8, but let's see, Aqua Minerale gets a very nice line, touches a little bit of the inside curb, and gets a little bit of wheel spin at the exit, but cuts the entire Variante Alta chicane. As we have a yellow flag, it is Itamar again, so pretty consistent with his spins at the moment in Q3. But Alpha going now into turn 18 gets a very nice line, and nearly going out to the gravel, which would cause him to lose a bunch of time. But he is gonna be P7 currently with a 1:16.4, currently ahead of his teammate by 12 thousandths of a second. Which is very, very unexpected, at least for me, as Itamar gets a 5 place grid penalty for collision with Odin. I don't know what happened there, but I mean, Odin's looking fine. He still has his front wing, so I don't really know what happened there. As Kos also crosses the finish line, puts himself into P4. Unfortunately, that's gonna be the best for the Red Bull. Currently on the second row, but we have to wait to see how everyone else is gonna improve. Ollie also crosses the finish line, 1:15.9, but he's doing another lap, so let's see if he can maybe improve. Dubby also crossed the finish line, 1:16.0, so stays in P6. Wesley isn't improving. He actually goes into the pit lane, as PW Jones is gonna cross the finish line, puts himself into P7, a 1:16.1. We also have now Alpha, who is gonna go into the pit lane. Tyler Freeman is gonna be next to cross the line. Let's see how he is gonna be able to do. Is he gonna be able to challenge for the pole position on Imola? And yes, he is. A 115.2 for the Haas driver, currently on pole. The only one who can presumably try and challenge that now is gonna be Ganymede. Is Ganymede gonna be able to take pole position? Only improving by 88 thousandths of a second currently, going into the final corner, opening his DRS. And is it gonna be pole? No, he is gonna stay P3, unfortunately, but still a very good place to start at, as you are gonna have the outside line going into turns 1, 2, and 3. So I think this is gonna be good for the Williams. Next we have Itamar going into the pit lane, Dubby finishing his lap, and goes P4 for the Haas
Nice
F1
time.
team. Yes, it is.
Don't forget PW Jones is also on a lap. I don't know how much he's up by, or if he's up at all, but he's gonna see. I think he's going. Yeah, he's a bit down. He's going against the pits. But Oliho is the last one on a lap. He's going against the pits too. But yeah, there you go. There's our grid then. Tyler Freeman is on pole.
As Wesley also follows him behind, so that is going to be the first row of the grid, so it is gonna be very interesting. This is also Tyler Freeman's first pole position, I think, this season, so let's see if he can manage the pressure of starting on pole. And we already said, but Wesley is gonna follow him right behind. Ganymede also a pretty good qualifying pace here, a 115.4, puts himself into P3, with Dubby following him right behind for the second row. I think Haas's are looking very strong in today's race compared to how they looked before. So do you think that Haas maybe have a chance to secure a double podium position in the race?
Yeah, I mean it can, but it's gonna be wet, full wet, mate, at the start. So I think qualifying doesn't matter at all. But I think apparently Wesley made a big mistake in his last lap. That's what's cost him the pole position. Nonetheless, still a good qualifying position for him, because P2 with full wet weather doesn't mean anything, mate. It's whoever gets the best launch, I think. What do you think about that?
Well, it is of course gonna be that, but it's also gonna be if you can actually get yourself away safely going into turn 1. If you manage to avoid any collisions, any contacts, any incidents, you're gonna be good, even if you don't overtake for P1. So just try and keep up the pressure to Tyler and try and make him make a mistake. I think that is gonna be the best strategy for Wesley. But if he can overtake him, going even before turn 1, then just try and pull away off the DRS. We know that the DRS is pretty strong here in Imola, so if he can get himself out of the 1 second range, then I think it's all gonna be good. Oh yeah, we have rain! I forgot about that.
Yeah, rain. So no DRS.
No DRS.
It's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy as well, from what we can see here early on.
I think we had actually PW Jones in chat saying that it is gonna dry out immediately, so presumably in around 10 laps, I would say. We also have the weather on perfect, so you know that it is gonna dry out in 10 laps. So it's gonna be very interesting how people are gonna do this. Might we actually see some people starting on the intermediates, because it's gonna dry out so soon?
Yeah, I think we'll see that. We'll definitely see that, because I think downforce is a little bit more. I think in the wet is what I was heard with the new floor, but we did see this last game where it dries up automatically. It's like, well, yeah, it's gonna be inters before you know it, so there's no point going, because the inters can go straight to the dry, whereas I don't think the wet can go straight to the dry weather.
And let's see, no one actually goes intermediates.
So we're missing when it turns dry then.
Yeah.
But so this should be an interesting start with the amount of standing water we have, and how people are gonna. Do you think we'll see many spinners off the start then?
I mean, we don't see any right now, but there's probably gonna be some, at least 1 or 2. But like you said, with the standing water, it is gonna be very interesting to see how everyone's gonna take turn 1. because there's not gonna be a drier racing line, so I think most people are gonna be just spinning off the track. So that's gonna be very fun to see. Hello Yivodar, I hope that you are gonna enjoy today's stream and the commentary. And while we are actually on the topic of that, we would also like to say thank you to our sponsors, Skullcandy and GoPro, for sponsoring today's stream, because this stream could not have been possible without them. But we already have a few eliminations with Itamar and Starry. Itamar, of course, getting that 5 place grid penalty, so he is gonna start P14, unfortunately. And of course, both of the Alfa Romeos starting last. So let's see if their strategy is gonna play out. As we are waiting now for the final few people, as Tyler is gonna go here to get themselves to the grid. The formation lap is on immersive, so you need to put yourself to the grid. If you miss the mark, you get a massive setback for your start. You basically get set like 1 or 2 more meters than the optimal starting position, which is not ideal when you want to start the race. So try and get it as perfectly as possible, or just try and secure it with the green, and that is gonna be fine. You also wanna set your car a little bit to the right, because the first corner is going to the right and you are gonna get a better exit.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can see that.
we're starting. We have 5 red lights and we are underway for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Oh my god, Lewis Piper and Yipe get an incredible start.
Oh, as he crashes with the Itamar! No, that's the other Mercedes.
I think
On
that
the start
both,
line, Lewis and Yip are both involved.
well, their strategy hasn't played off at this moment.
McLaren off of Ollie Horwood. He's pretty much out of this battle right now already.
And Tyler has also spun.
That's
Okay.
promoted Itamar already up to 8th after turn 2.
So Wesley is currently leading, as Kos is already improving by 2 positions, now side by side with Dubby going into turn 8. Is he gonna be able to make this move stick down the inside? I think it's gonna be a bit easier, but Dubby is on the racing line, but Kos manages to make it stick, as we also saw Wesley very careful with his traction, as he nearly loses the car as well as everyone else. But thankfully everyone's going away cleanly. But we did see a lot of spinners in the beginning, with a big crash happening with the 2 Alfa Romeos, which is very unfortunate. So some people might have damage already, as we see people side by side with Ferrari and the AlphaTauri, Odin and Little Jack, as Little Jack just pushes him off the track, as Starry gets the first time penalty of the session. And now Little Jack is under attack from Tyler, who also has a broken front wing, as he just collides into Odin. He just didn't even brake on my screen. That might be
Lewis
decent.
Piper off too. But lots of people with penalties already. It's a bit weird to see. I don't know what you think, but yeah, Yipper with a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. But we've got more falling back. Is that a spinner? I can't quite see who got caught up in that incident.
It was Kos.
Kos only in P5 currently. But Alpha in the podium position right now, doing pretty solid right now. But Wesley, mate, what a gap he's already got.
Yeah, Wesley is looking very good on the wets. Looks like all that practice in the wet has paid off.
As he goes straight on.
Oh!
He's gonna get it back on track and he's not gonna lose any time, but yeah, commentator's curse.
Yeah.
Once again. Wesley went straight on at Acro Minerali.
I don't think
he's-
floor damage is enabled, is it?
I think it is, yeah. I think so. But you see Dubby kind of pulling on a little bit of a train right now. With quite a few cars involved. I think Itamar's also going to start a train shortly. Eagle already on the pressuring Itamar, as Itamar breaks very early into the second to last corner.
As they are gonna go ahead into lap 3 already. And in my opinion, it still doesn't look like it's drying out. so we are gonna have to wait a little bit longer. But Wesley still just improving on that gap. Ganymede also improving a little bit in the corners compared to Alpha. I don't think Alpha's gonna have enough of a gap to try and defend for that podium position, as Ganymede is right on his tail at this time, but Ganymede also has Kos right behind him, so he is in a Red Bull sandwich at the moment. So either he has to overtake Alpha as soon as possible, or he is gonna get overtaken by Kos. So it is gonna be a very difficult here strategy by the Williams, so let's see what he's gonna decide to do. As we also have Ollie and Tyler going side by side into turn 1, as Kos is just getting the pressure to Ganymede, just riding as close as he possibly can to the Williams, trying to attack him at every single corner, and just applying pressure, like I said. But he is still a bit too far behind to try and make a move, as he actually gets a very good exit going out into Variante Alta chicane, but he isn't gonna be able to make a move stick, unfortunately, as Ganymede is now close to Alpha. So this is gonna be close. To see what is actually gonna happen here. Is Ganymede gonna crash, or is he gonna overtake Alpha now into turn 1? Wesley, another fastest lap for the Alpha Tauri, as Ganymede is finally gonna overtake Alpha. So do you think that the Alpha is now gonna let Kos through?
If he has enough base, Kos should be able to overtake him, is what I think. But we'll see if that team model is going to be there. Kos is going to look to the inside, and he gives the position. Very nicely done by both the Red Bulls. Not too much time lost. But you could tell that I was orchestrated quite forcefully there from Kos.
I mean, it was forceful, but I think it was the correct decision, because I don't think Alpha has the pace to run with the front runners here. I mean, he has the pace to be very high, like the top 5 or top 4, but Kos and Ganymede, I think, in my opinion, have way more pace than Alpha currently on the wets. We're gonna have to wait and see in the dries if it's gonna switch around, but currently this was the correct decision by the Red Bull team, as he runs wide a little bit.
But Wesley nearly had a 6-second gap already on lap 4. The guys generally, like John Opmit did in Singapore last season in PSGL, but this is a pretty impressive show then from Wesley so far.
Or like he did in USA and this year as well.
Yeah.
He was dominating that wet race, as we see from Wesley here as well. And speaking of Wesley, we can check his teammate.
Wesley's nearly dropped it. Oh, that was close. He just got oversteer out of turn 4 and he very nearly went there. Sorry to interrupt, but that was so close.
Well, he might be pushing a bit too much, or that might be the indication that it's drying out. It might be both. I don't know. But
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But looking by Wesley's screen, I don't think it's still drying out for intermediates. But what do you think?
No, it's not drying up yet. I think we got a few more laps yet before we start to see it drying out. But this battle's getting quite nice for P5, I believe it is. PW Jones trying to be the next man to overtake Alpha.
As that battle is also happening, Kos is still pressuring the Williams of Ganymede. You can actually see how braver Kos is under braking, but he loses a lot in the traction zones, so that is gonna cost him a lot of time, as he actually goes wide in Aqua Minerale, which lost him 7/10. So even though DRS is not enabled still, because it is wet, he is out of the DRS, as we have our first spinner. Like normal spinner. J-Rose unfortunately going out on track.
But no safety car. It's surprising.
It is a little bit. We can also speak about Lewis. Lewis is going into the pits.
Yeah, let's see what tire goes to. It could be just damage. That'd be a hard thinking it would be. Maybe he's looking at the inters going for an aggressive strategy, and it is! The intermediate tires and Fprl'S Piper. changing that front wing. Also, he's going for. I think he's thinking like, I've got nothing to gain now. Let's just see how this intermediate tire works. So we're gonna look at his lap times for the next few laps and see if anyone in the other teams may want to follow.
Moses also follows him. Speaking of that, he also switches to intermediates. He doesn't have to change the front wing, so he just went by his own choice. As we see Yipe, the other Alfa Romeo driver, trying to overtake Ollie Horwood in the McLaren, going into turns 1, 2 and 3. And he is gonna make the move stick as they go side by side into turn 4. Are they gonna leave each other room? Yes, they do. Very, very nice overtake by Yipe there. And let's see if the intermediates are actually gonna be better, but by the looks of it, currently they are not.
No, they're not good enough. As Wesley's now got an 8-second gap to beat to. By lap 15, he's almost gonna have a pit stop.
Oh, Kos and Alpha are gonna double stack.
That's surprising. Maybe they think these tires are so good that they have to double stack. I still think it's the wrong decision though.
Oh, definitely.
The time they're gonna lose is ridiculous. But Alpha then is gonna be significantly compromised. But I like this camera shot in the pit lane, the external one, that they have going. But yeah, now it's gonna be Ganny and Darby still within a second of each other. But mate, Wesley is just in a race of his own right now. He's looking at his first Fprl win today. Currently got 2 P2s and a P3 this season. Let's hope it doesn't turn into a Sterling Moss situation where he never wins. And never gets the championship. Sorry, but this is a little bit different with wins rather than championships. But will we see Wesley come into the pits? What do you think?
I think he is gonna go now, but he doesn't even have anything to lose if he does want to go. But he is gonna stay out. So let's actually see if the inters are gonna be best, as we already have half of the grid switching to intermediates. And going on board with Wesley, it does look like the racing line is drying out a little bit. It's becoming a bit clearer, in my opinion. So I think intermediates are gonna be around in 1 or 2 more laps, I think, and then inters are gonna be the best tire.
Yeah, I think it's when we see a fastest lap set on an intermediate tire is when I think everyone's gonna get into that pit lane. But it seems to me that there's only 5 people who haven't pitted yet, and it's both AlphaTauris. I hope they don't double stack. They have the gap though, to be honest. They have the gap, I think. So yeah, they'll be fine. But Itamar P4, not too bad.
Kos has unfortunately not undercutted Dubby, who has also went into the pit lane for intermediates. And we can see Starry is actually struggling a little bit on the wets. So I think it might be better to go this lap or the next lap, because you see how Starry is losing so much time to Dubby and Kos in the corners.
Sorry, I don't want to. Just want to interrupt. Ganymede's spinning then at the exit of Acro Minerale. He's going to be down to P5. Fortunate for him, but sorry, mate, carry on.
Well, that's gonna be an indication that inters are better.
Wesley into the pits.
And there we go. So Ganymede's spin, I think, for Wesley was enough that the inters are better.
See if PW Jones will pit. Yes, we will see PW into the box. Same with Itamar and Odin, nearly spinning a Tokyo Drift around the final corner.
And Ganymede also
another
goes
one
in.
going into the pit lane now. Let's see that gap to Dubby then for Wesley as he comes out of the pits. What we've seen with a lot of drivers though is that the intermediates are really hard to get up to temperature off the start. We've seen drivers in times that are just not anywhere near, just getting absolutely smoked by the guys who are on 1 or 2 lap old intermediate tyres. But the gap to Dubby is around 9 seconds, but that's going to come down as these Wesley's in the warm-up stage of his intermediate tyres.
PW Jones has also improved massively, going to P4 by waiting out a little bit on those wets. So he's currently running in a very good position and has a little bit fresher tires than the guys behind him, Alpha and Itamar. So I think that was the best strategy for him, as Alpha nearly loses it, as J-Rose has spun at turn 3. But yeah, very good by PW.
Lewis and Gani, turn 7. Oh, nice move from Lewis. Really nice move into turn 7. Sorry to cut you off, but Lewis seems to be the biggest gainer of this change to intermediate tyres right now. They go side by side for turn 8. Oh, Gani touches the back wheel of Lewis, but given enough room, and he backs out in 2 times, so no spin or anything like that has been recorded.
But you are correct, actually. Lewis is having a pretty good race so far. After his lap 1 incident, he is very pacey on those intermediates. So I think...
how has he gained so much? Like,
I don't know.
He had to pit. He's done 2 stops, I think.
Let's
so how is
check.
he?
No, it's 1 stop.
No, he's done 1 stop. Okay, that's probably why. But he had damage for sure after that. But Ganymede then, yeah, after his spin, he's gonna be trying to get back up into a good position then. But Wesley almost at 10 seconds is the gap to Dobby. But when is the moment that the nerves set in for Wesley as he sets a purple sector 1? Because I know how nervous he can get sometimes when he's in a race winning situation. But Kos is closing.
We also have a little battle here at the back with Tyler and Moses trying to battle for P12, as Tyler was trying to go around the outside, as he is gonna be involved in the incident between Moses, as Moses just loses the car on his own in the middle of the corner. I don't think Tyler has damage because of that contact, but that is gonna lose him 2 more positions to Eagle and Yippe. So very unfortunate here from Tyler. He really hasn't gotten the best race, starting from pole, currently running in P14 for the Haas. Yippe gets a 5-second penalty.
Ignore yellow flags. Maybe he overtook someone under this yellow flag. I think he overtook Tyler under yellow flag, yet Tyler was the one that crashed. So I think he'll get that penalty removed. As Eagle gets a bad exit, Yipper's going to try it around the outside. Agua Minerale, it doesn't generally work, but I think Eagle's going to back out and give him the position. Nice move by Yipper, but he gets a little bit tacked there by Eagle again, causing the rear end of his car to scrum a little bit, but he keeps it under control and he gains the position.
But Tyler is also very close to this pack. He gets a very nice run at Variant Alta Chicane, so I think he might be able to challenge going now into the penultimate corner, as we have the Mercedes of J-Rose spinning yet again. So let's hope that our drivers don't get compromised by him trying to rejoin on the track, and thankfully they don't. But Tyler has lost quite a lot of lap time at that part, and it seems to be drying out even more right now.
Yeah, it could be not too long before we see soft running. Soft running in this race. Yeah, it's like if the drivers, do you think they'll go to the mediums or the hards to get to the end? I think by the time this dries up, it'll be mediums to the end.
Moses and Oli nearly did a Bottas and Russell. Jesus, how they didn't crash, I don't know. But Moses has managed to defend for P15, still running at that place. Oli really struggling to get past the Williams here. As J-Rose is our first retirement of the race, so very unfortunate for him, but what can you do?
Yeah, lots of spins. But Itamar, his teammate, is doing pretty nicely right now, sitting in P6. But Wesley, 12 seconds gap. It's getting, but Dubby and Kos side by side into turn 6. Kos takes the position quite easily. Dubby backs out, doesn't want anything to do with it. And then there you go then. Dubby down to P3, Kos up to P2.
Very easy overtake there by the Red Bull. He had pretty poor qualifying performance, but I think a P2 is still gonna put him in the championship lead. So he's still gonna be leading and extend only a little bit his gap. Wesley, if he does win today's race, is gonna just get ahead. He's also saving a lot of his ERS. He's not using any of it, so when it does come to dry conditions, he's gonna have a lot to battle with, even if there's gonna be a safety car. Which, by the looks of it, we still don't have any safety cars.
Yeah, I feel as if people are when we see these we go to a dry running, is we're going to see a pace difference where people have got more experience practice in dry and than in the wet. Um, but yeah, Wesley setting 2 seconds faster than the previous fastest lap we saw about 5 laps ago from Lewis. So that's showing a pretty big gain in the pace in the track right now. But we should be going to, so I think so tires or medium tires very quickly. But Kos is gaining on Wesley by quite a bit.
Yes, he is, but he is also losing a lot of time as well. I think he lost around 5 tenths that lap, last lap. And he's also using a lot of his ERS all the time, which I don't think it's necessary. He already has the gap to Dubby behind, so he doesn't really have pressure from the Haas. So
Yeah.
I think now the best decision for Kos is to just wait until the dry conditions and then hope for a safety car. And he's gonna be in the battle for the win. But if the safety car doesn't come, then that's gonna be a huge problem. Eagle has spun.
It could be a safety car. Spice it up a little bit if we did see a safety car.
We
Wesley's sitting at 24.8. Let's see what Kos can reply with, because I feel like that could maybe beat that. Wait, actually no, he's lost 4 tenths in this lap.
Kos does a
We'll hit it.
125.7.
So the times are really ramping up. Wesley's pushing, mate. Did you see where his line through turn 4 then? He was really wide, almost in the gravel, pushing his hardest. I think like once you're in the groove, mate, like when it's risky, you're in the groove and you're just pushing, mate. Just instinct only, and I think that's the way he's driving right now.
I mean, he is Dutch, and we saw in real life that the Dutch people do know how to drive in the rain with Max. Like Max is also very fast in the wet, so it might just come around to all of the guys from the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think it's generally to do with the karting, and it's always raining in Holland when you're karting. It's the same in the UK and Belgium. See, those drivers always seem to be better in the wet if they have real life experience. But right now, the bottom 4 are all English and Dutch drivers, so I would not explain it. And if you really want to look at it, the bottom P7 to P16 are English or Dutch. So it's quite a populated field of English and Dutch drivers today, I think.
But it's still not drying out. There are less drops of rain, but I think we are gonna have to wait around 5 more laps until the dry conditions are actually gonna be suitable. Oh, as Wesley nearly loses it at the exit of turn 6. Thankfully he keeps the car in line. I don't think he needs to push this much, he already has the gap down. So just conserve, wait until dry, and that's it.
Yeah, we don't want a Seb Vettel moment that Hockenheim doing in the Mercedes-Benz corner. That would not be nice.
I mean, maybe that's gonna repeat when, if it actually does come as a DLC track, which it's probably not. But we're gonna have to wait and see until that comes. But looks like Wesley and Kos are now at pretty equal pace. Kos is not really losing too much time. So yeah, I think it's just now a matter of time until dries are gonna come and be the faster tire. But it might be a little bit a while until that actually is gonna happen. As we see a little bit of porpoising on the Red Bull car. I don't know if that's losing Kos a little bit of time on the straights, but he is porpoising.
Yeah, his track rods are going up and down.
And he's also wasting a lot of his ERS again, so not saving it for anything.
I mean, it regen's quite fast in the wet, but whereas Wesley, I don't think he's using enough. Whereas Kos is using everything he's got. But he's not going to catch, is he? Just even if he's like so much faster than Wesley, he can almost be a second a lap faster and he won't catch him. So
No
I feel
way.
like it's just about keeping it on track right now, mate, and hoping a safety car comes out. You know what I mean?
Little Jack goes into the pit lane. I don't know if he has any damage. Yes, he has. He has no front wing, so he's gonna change to another set of intermediates, puts another front wing, and that is that. But because we don't see a lot of action out on track, let's actually speak about the positions gained actually. So Lewis Piper has gained most of the positions, starting from last and currently 6th. He was involved in a lap 1 incident between his teammate and someone else, which I don't really remember, but from then on he has shown a pretty good pace in the wet. As we see a spin from Eagle again, which is very unfortunate, and Wesley another fastest lap, so Wesley still pushing. And most positions lost is by Tyler Freeman, starting from pole position and putting himself now into P11, currently outside the points, but there is still half of the race to try and get himself back. We can also say the penalties. Alpha has 5 seconds, Itamar, Starry and Eagle all have 3 seconds, and Yipe unfortunately has 8 seconds, somehow, even with regular rules.
Yeah, they kind of got a variant delta. All of them are doing it right now. Does we have another spinner? I think that's
It's only...
It's just he needs to let Wesley through. Blue flags.
There
A
you
little
go.
bit late on the blue flags. That's gonna lose Wesley about four tenths there. A little bit naughty then from Ollie Hall with not getting out the way that fast. But Kos goes very wide. Agaminarale has to hit the escape road, which is gonna lose him a bit of time. But I feel like he gained it by cutting the corner on the exit.
Is the track drying out a little bit?
Yeah, I think it is. Especially if you go on board with Wesley, you can see on the main straight, we're starting to see a pretty dry line.
He's also losing 6 tenths last lap. So I think we are very close to the dry conditions. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, very much so.
We also have a battle behind with Ganymede, Itamar and Lewis. Ganymede just trying to get himself into this battle with those two. He also has a advantage that Itamar actually has a penalty. Those 3 seconds that are going to be added at the end of the race. But thankfully for him, he's also gaining a little bit in the corners, as he actually runs a little bit deep going into turn 1, which is going to lose him 3 tenths. Ollie gets a 3-second time penalty, so that is another one added to the penalty names. But we are on lap 18 of 32. Wesley is still leading the race so far, with 14 seconds of a gap to Kos right behind him. Dubby is also on the podium positions, but PW Jones is getting very close to him, and I think a little bit of a train might be forming up in a couple of laps, with Dubby, PW Jones, Alpha, Lewis, Itamar and Ganymede, with all of them being pretty close to one another. Odin is currently running in P9 and Yipe is in the final points paying position, but he does have those 8 seconds of penalties, so he does need to clear a 8-second gap to Tyler Freeman, who is right behind him with 6.4 seconds. Starry also has a penalty, who is running in P12. Moses is P13, Little Jack P14. Both of the McLarens, unfortunate for them, P15 and P16, and not the race that they would have wanted. And J Rose, our first retirement of the race, and probably not the last. But it's all gonna be a matter of time, as Ganymede has managed to get himself a little bit closer to Itamar, but losing a little bit in the first sector, as we see a McLaren again spinning. That is, I think, Eagle. So yeah, Eagle, like you said in qualifying, Eagle has lost a lot of pace coming out from F1 2021 now to 22. Presumably about the regulations being very, very different, and the cars, how they feel as well, being very, very different.
Yeah, definitely. Same with Little Jack, to be honest. Tyler Freeman's not where he usually is, because he's doing incredible pace. But do you think we'll get dry running at all at the end of this race?
I mean, watching
it's very stopped. Like it's really dry. If you go on board with Wesley, just look at that line he's got now. I feel like it's gonna be a battle of strategy at the end. Wesley has that kind of comfort zone, because he's 15 seconds ahead. Is that enough for a pit stop in wet conditions? It might be almost.
I think you lose around 22 seconds around Imola. Imola's pit lane is pretty long, so you lose a bit more time than usually. But I don't think that would be enough to cover off Kos and still stay ahead of him after the pit stop.
Okay.
As
Yeah, he's got it tomorrow.
Yes, he has. Good die. But speaking of wet, we saw Tyler putting the fastest lap, the previous lap. So I mean, it is probably drying out, and I see no rain droplets actually from Wesley's point of view. So I think one more lap, and it is gonna be dry running, because I don't think the dry line is still not here. So one more lap and it is gonna be good.
Yeah, it's just a thing of who can get in the pits on time, really. I think Wesley can be conservative. He can be the last guy into the pits, if you know what I mean. Like, he can come in after Kos and see how Kos gets on. But it's just to set the fastest lap of the race. On my screen, anyway.
So he's not conservative at all.
I think it's just the track's drying, mate. And he's just really fast, generally. Like, I reckon he could push more, but he's just taking it careful right now. He's catching more lap traffic.
And still improving on his lap time.
Yeah.
Half a tenth already in Sector 1, so I don't know how he's doing it with the track nearly dry, but he's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, even Kos is losing around a second every lap now. So I really don't know how Wesley is keeping up with this current form.
His tyres is 2 laps younger than Kos. That may make a difference.
Could be. I wouldn't know.
It's Mars keeping Kos goes wide again and loses a lot of time out of that corner. Lost almost 2 seconds to Wesley. As a Yipper is into the pits for the mediums, and we see Tyler also going into the pits. Two trying to really benefit from this. I think they just gotta go rogue because they're not even in the place to get any points right now. So they've got to go for it. As Yipper nearly spins it, same with Freeman out of the pit lane.
Oh, that's reset the track.
Was it? Okay,
yeah.
You gotta note that down. 21.
But Tyler actually went on softs. That's actually gonna be very difficult to get to the end. I know very well, as I got a puncture in Australia on the last lap.
Same things happened to Moses. He's reversing on track. No, don't do that. Don't do that. He's beached it. He's beached it, mate.
No, he's just waiting for them to clear out, but he has front wing damage. He's gonna have to go again. So this is just showing that it's still not dry enough, even though it stopped raining. So
yeah, Yipper's struggling.
Yeah, everyone is struggling. Everyone.
Yeah, it's definitely not time for that yet.
It's gonna be even a question if it's gonna be time, because we still have 10 laps remaining of the race, and there's not gonna be a bunch of time to actually put dries on anymore.
I think there will be.
I don't know. Wesley fastest lap.
Wesley going again.
I don't know how.
Mate, this is a lead and a half, mate. Are you seeing the gap? The Kos? Kos is at the final corner now, and Wesley's already in turn 3.
Yeah, and speaking of Kos, his teammate is actually going under pressure now from Lewis Piper. That's very dangerous, trying to overtake a lapped car. But that gives Lewis Piper a very good opportunity down the straight. He is using every single percent of the ERS that he has. Alpha is not even defending. You can see that Lewis Piper is just a beast in a straight line. So presumably he has a dry setup, so his straight line speed should be way better. But that was a very easy position by Lewis there. Goes to P5 from last position.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see who will have the different setups on, dry and wet setups. Because that will play a factor, I think. But it's definitely not dry weather yet, mate.
I think a wet setup could have been
where's
more.
he disconnect? Where's he disconnected?
Oh, is the AI
He's
gonna
lost the
bring him
second.
in?
He's lost the second. He's lost the second already.
Is the AI actually gonna bring him in?
No.
No.
But he needs to get back in session as soon as possible. He's losing seconds a lap, mate.
Well, I don't know how that happened, but that's very unfortunate. Just try and rejoin as fast as you possibly can, because you're losing a lot of time. So maybe it was actually good that he pushed all the time. Maybe he knew that this would happen, and now Kos is putting fastest laps all the time.
Let's see his sector delta to his AI. Here we go then.
There we go.
Only 1/10 down as he joins back.
That's actually not as much as I thought. So the AI is very good.
He's lost a lot of time though.
Wait, what's the AI at? 85. Okay, AI at Imola is actually pretty overpowered, so that makes sense.
And for Sector 1 as well, where generally the AI have the best. So I think he'll be joining. He's still in AI mode now, but I think he's back on very soon.
There we go. He's on.
He's
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's on. So yeah, that was scary.
Scary. Yeah, very much so. But Eagle on Tyler Freeman around the outside. DRS enabled, but it's definitely not wet weather right now. Dry weather.
As Tyler Freeman trying to do a move on Eagle, but Eagle manages to defend around the outside. So it is dry enough.
Ah, that's really risky, mate. That's really risky. I don't know what he's doing with that. I mean, if it pays off, it's sure, but it's risky in my eyes. But so Kos is going into the pits too. I think everyone's going into the pits right now. Let's see what's going on further back then.
I mean,
see who's going to continue.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I don't think Wesley has anything to lose. He already had 16 seconds, so if it wouldn't pay off, he would probably just lose a little bit of time and still be winning.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is with the soft tires, it's way more slippy, like we saw. Like this, it's so you could so easily get something wrong. But yeah, he's doing okay so far. But everyone going to the soft and medium tire.
Except for Dubby. Dubby has stayed out for one more lap, and it looks like it's actually paid off. He's already gained 2 seconds to Wesley, as the tires are gonna be very hard to heat up
his AI
in this current stage.
His AI driving.
Who?
But his AI is gonna go down the inside then of Wesley.
No, it's not the AI of Dubby.
No, Dubby just joined back.
Oh yeah, it is.
But it's best for Wesley just to let him go. But we have a yellow flag. I don't know what that's for.
Oh, contact between Dubby and Wesley. You don't really want to do that. There was a spinner of Starry, I think, and we see another yellow flag with Oli. But
Gani's now lost 4 seconds there tomorrow.
Yeah, but Dubby's AI has actually made a very good decision to actually stay out one more lap. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
As he comes straight back on track, hopefully not.
He's not gonna do anything to anyone, so that is good. Oh, Dubby has spun.
Okay, Dubby's AI. Oh, it's Dubby now probably, but he goes to the pits. It's gonna lose him a lot of time, I think. Yeah, we'll see.
Wait, Lewis Piper is gonna be on the podium.
Oh my god. Lewis has had an amazing race right now. But it's pretty... Wait. Am I seeing raindrops?
No. I'm not.
Why am I seeing raindrops on my screen? It's not raining in game, but like there's drops on coming down onto the camera, which is weird because if it's not raining, it's so stupid. But another spin then. Could we get a last minute safety car? That would be lovely.
The safety car only has the opportunity to enter until lap 29, and if it doesn't come until then we have no safety car. But Lewis is in the podium positions as he overtakes Lewis, as we see Eagle spinning, or that's Ollie actually spinning right behind him in turn 7.
He's back on track and he nearly spins into someone else. But he avoids everybody. But Wesley seems to be in control right now, and Costa has a comfortable lead to Lewis behind. But look at that, Wesley fastest lap.
I mean, we're talking about Lewis having a pretty good race, but we cannot also count PW Jones having a very good race. He was not really looking to be at the front in qualifying, but P4 for Aston Martin is gonna prove very valuable for the team in the constructors and in the drivers as well, for himself.
Oh, Lewis second a lap faster than Costa right now.
And a second and a half to PW Jones, so PW Jones no way that he gets a podium, but P4, like I said, still very good indeed. As we also have a pretty good battle here with Ganymede Alpha and Dubby, as Ganymede has overtaken Dubby for P5. We saw Ganymede's straight line speed is very good, so that was a very easy overtake for the Williams. But now Alpha is trying to join this battle, so he's probably gonna have to be hoping that the dirty air for Dubby is gonna lose him a bunch of time, so he can get himself in the DRS as well here. But now it's all gonna be a point of not getting to the wet lines of the racing line, and if you do that you're basically gonna die and go into the wall, like we saw a bunch of people actually do that already. But we see a lot of fastest laps happening all the time, so the track is just drying out and drying out and drying out with 4 laps remaining. And Alpha has actually managed to get himself in the DRS. He is also using all of his ERS, so he's not gonna have anything to actually attack with. And Ganymede is gonna be a little bit under pressure.
Forgot DRS existed.
I mean, we had 26 laps of no DRS, and now we have DRS for the final 7 laps. But the Dubby is trying to make a move on Ganymede. Ganymede has no ERS to try and defend with. As Dubby tried to go around the outside, Ganymede didn't leave too much room. There was space, but Dubby already touched the gravel over the track, and that caused him to lock up and go in incredibly deep into turn 1. Eagle fastest lap, so looks like his dry is actually better than his wet pace.
Wesley 1 second up on his Delta against the 19s. 18-9.
And there we go. We also
see what Coles can respond with.
Yes, let's see. And while we're waiting for that, we also have Little Jack and Yippee trying to battle for P11. Unfortunately not for points, but P11 is still gonna be a okay position. Yippee does have that penalty, so it's gonna be even easier. And that is Eagle, or no, Ollie, off the track. Ollie's really had a hard race.
Yeah, he keeps on spinning. I don't know how many spins he's had, but quite a few. He's gonna get blue flagged here. I think he's getting blue flagged for Lewis. Yeah.
As Odin goes quickest with a 118.6. As Moses also gets a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, Kos is still losing a lot of time to Wesley, even on dries, so Wesley has just dominated this whole race. No competition at the front here.
Yeah, when was the last time he was racing? Probably lap 1 maybe? Lap 1 he didn't really do much either. It's just been a boring race for him, but fastest lap, there we go. 4 tenths faster.
I don't know how he's doing it, but he is. We also see.
I hope Odin doesn't try and take that fastest lap back, because Odin's in the reserve standings. So
Yippee.
if you watch anybody go for Aqua Minerali, they always cut the curb. They pretend to go wide and cut it. That's what I've been seeing quite a lot.
I mean, you can mark it. You are a steward, so You can try and speak with your team about that. But we're gonna go on board with Dubby, who is gonna try and overtake Ganymede for P5, as he also sets a fastest lap of the race. But you can see this, even when he's not using, or he's using ERS, he cannot get ahead of the Williams, but thankfully he does. And there's a McLaren on the racing line nearly, but thankfully he moved away. But Ganymede still very close to the Haas, but gets a pretty awkward line into turns 5-4. So he cannot overtake there, but Dubby does go very deep going into turn 7, but still gonna be ahead. But Ganymede, we saw his straight line speed is absolutely amazing, so I think it's gonna be a easy job to get P5, which is also gonna be his final opportunity to get that position. So if he doesn't do it now, he's not gonna be able to do it anymore. As we're actually going out to the final lap of the race. No, it's actually the penultimate lap of the race, with Wesley on lap 31.
Itamar's binned it again. That means people might be able to catch up. Yippa's very close, in fact. Yippa overtakes Itamar as he spins again. Itamar's first point since Hungary last season. Go running away from him. And he's going to be unable to get it. So unfortunate for him.
Ganymede gaining around 4 tenths or 3 tenths, 5 tenths in the straight, but still not close enough to try and make a move for P5, so looks like he's losing a bunch of time in the corners. As, oh, that's a Mercedes on the racing line. Be careful there.
Oh no, not tipping Wesley, mate. Please no. Oh no, it's not Wesley, it's Auden. Auden will get past him. But Wesley starts the final lap then.
Yes, he does. It has been a pretty chaotic race so far, but not a lot of action around the grid, as we would have hoped. It was pretty close in qualifying, but looks like that didn't really transfer in the race because of the wet weather conditions. But still a very good race nonetheless. Don't you agree, Ole?
Yeah, I mean, we probably hope for a bit more. 2 DNFs, that's pretty light, do you think, for like a full wet session? Yeah, everyone seems to have kept it somewhat clean, as Dubby says the fastest lap of the race. As we can see Wesley coming up to the final sector, pretty demanding, so demanding performance, no one can get close, cost 18 seconds back. But they both had a few hiccups, losing a couple of seconds. But I feel like Wesley is enjoyed this one. He lagged out, but he's back in. And it's going to be his first win in Fprl'S Division 1. And Wesley takes P1 in Imola and gains a bit more of a gap back to, of course, in the championship.
And speaking of course, he is gonna cross the finish line in just a moment as he laps Yipe in the Alfa Romeo, who is gonna get P10, but unfortunately because of the penalties he is gonna be P11 and gives Ferrari probably their first double podium. Oh, actually they don't. Yipe stays P10. Lewis gets P3 for the final podium position. And PW Jones P4 as Eagle gets disqualified for some reason, I don't know. Dubby finishes P5 for Haas. Ganymede is gonna be P6, unfortunately couldn't get ahead of Dubby in time, lost a lot in the corners. Alpha is gonna be P7, Odin is gonna be P8, Starry P9, and Yipe takes the final point Spain position and gives 1 more point to Alfa Romeo, as well as the 15 points for Lewis. The fastest lap is by Tyler Freeman, a 1:16.959, unfortunately not in the top 10, and he isn't gonna get the additional point, unfortunately. As we are waiting for Oli, and there we go. That is race done. So yeah, like you said, this is Wesley's first win of the season. Still not ahead, of course, in the standings. Still has a lot of job to do if he does want to do that. But still a very, very good race there by the Alpha Tauri. Oh, all is gone.
Yeah,
And
my game crashed.
I hope that doesn't happen to me, because if my game crashes, then OBS is also gonna crash.
It won't.
But
It's okay.
yeah, it's still loading pretty long. So I think it's gonna be pretty close to crashing. I don't know. Ah, there we go. And here we see Wesley getting to the top step of the podium. Again, congratulations to the AlphaTauri driver for the first win of the season, but also congratulations to Kos for P2 and Lewis Piper from last to third with a very good final podium position. Congratulations.
Yeah, of course. But that gap will come down then to cost. Let me try and work it out quickly. I'm gonna have a little quick look.
While you're gonna do that, we are gonna say the final places or the final grid, how it is stacked up. So, like we already said, Wesley has won the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix today. He takes 25 points to his name. Kos is gonna follow him right behind with 18 points added to his name, and Lewis Piper 15 points, the final podium position. And I cannot check anything else because it's not loading, so that's nice. There we go. So PW Jones is gonna be P4, 12 points added to his name. That'll be P5, so that's 10 points. Ganymede P6, 8 points. Alpha P7, 6 points. Oren P8, 4 points. Starry P9, 2 points. And Yepe P10, 10 points. We also have Little Jack in P11, Tyler Freeman P12 with the fastest lap, unfortunately not getting the additional point. Itamar P13, Ollie Horwood P14, Moses P15, J Rose P16, and Eagle unfortunately getting disqualified in the final lap of the race. So he's not gonna get anything. And that is it.
Yeah, I think Costello has like an 18-point lead or something like that. 20 points, I think, something like that. But yeah, not a bad race for Wesley. I think he just had more pace than anyone throughout the whole. I think where he started also helped a lot because he didn't get involved in any drama, and he just kept focused throughout. And overall, really good race for him. That was him.
Yes, indeed. And that is going to be it. We're just gonna say a final few things before we round this stream off. And yeah, do you have anything else to say before I end it?
Not really, mate. No, it's been fun commentating once again.
Okay then. So, before we end the stream here, we would just like to say thank you to our sponsors GoPro and Skullcandy for sponsoring today's stream, because this stream could not have been possible without them. These streams are also being uploaded on YouTube the day after the stream is done, so you can check that out. The YouTube is Fprl or Formula Pro Racing League, so you can subscribe, you can check out the streams. If you missed something during the race, if you had to go and you didn't see the whole race, you can check it out there. Leave a like, leave a comment, we usually respond, and just subscribe, we really do appreciate it. You can also follow us on Instagram, where we post the driver of the day, which is voted by you guys in our Discord. You also check the final results there as well. But speaking of Discord, you can also join our Discord, the official Fprl Discord server, where you can get in touch with some of the drivers here in this league. You can also get in touch with us commentators, and you can race as well. We have 3 divisions. We have Division 1, which you saw today. Division 2 is on Sunday at 6 PM UK time, and we have Division 3 at 7 PM UK time. And if you don't want to race, like I said before, everyone in the league is very friendly, very talkative, so you can just hang out in the server. You can also follow us on Twitter, but I don't think we're very active there. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's actually it. You can follow us on Twitch. If my stream doesn't crash, I'm gonna read out who has followed in these last 2 hours that we've commentated, and that's gonna be it. So let's cross our fingers. And it didn't crash. There we go. So, thank you for the follow, AZE. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but thank you for the follow, and thank you, Adam Rocco, for the follow as well. We really do appreciate it, and we really do hope that you have enjoyed today's stream and the commentary, and we will see you tomorrow with another FPRL race. So, take care and stay safe.